Mario Kart items, everyone's favorite excuse for losing a race. Sometimes you pull a ridiculously OP one that just hands you first place, and other times you're screwed over by that very same luck. Today, we're gonna look at every item in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and rank them from worthless to elite. Kicking things off, we have the classic singular banana peel. It's a decent item to get. You only pull this one in the top few places, and it gives you really good protection from red shells, especially in first. It's never something you celebrate about, but compared to some other items first place gets stuck with, I'll take it. Not bad. So if the single banana's a low tier, this one's gotta be at least mid, right? You'd think it'd give you triple the protection, but it gives you debatably less, because you can't hold all three in a line behind you like in previous games. Instead, they spin around you, and yes, give you 360 protection, I guess, but it hardly comes in handy when most is attacking you from behind. Honestly, I'd rather have a single banana peel, but still. The less loved shell, just like the green brother. This item gets way too much hate. It's really good for defense, and is still very effective for close range attacks. The only reason people shit on it is because it's compared to the red shell, which tracks down the guy in front of you and makes sure to hit him. But this as a standalone item is great. I love pulling this one. Landing a snipe is easier than with something like a banana peel, but feels just as satisfying. Still, I wouldn't consider it great, but a solid pull for sure. Now, the triple for these is pretty comparable. Protection takes a downgrade like with the triple bananas, but getting to fire off 3 of these in a row almost guarantees you a hit, and sends a wave of fear into any opponent, especially when they just ricochet off the walls. It balances out to be another solid pull. Okay, these are worth the hype. Providing you the same protection as a single banana peel and locking onto the player in front of you is useful as all hell. If first place pulls a non-protection item and you're in second with one of these, you win. It's rarely ever a bad item to have, and definitely earns a clutch AF tier. This is debatably the best offensive item in the game. I'll take the less than ideal protection in exchange for 3 guaranteed hits. Because even if the guy in front of you has 2 layers of protection, spacing these outright allows you to shatter both of them and still land a hit. Whenever I'm playing with someone and they pull this behind me, I get pissed because I know it's over and there's nothing I can do. But when you pull it, it's f***ing awesome. Elite. The blue shell. Now, I don't want to sound too much like a cocky f*** here, but I'm usually in first place when I play with people, so I definitely have a more negative view of this one, because I'm always getting screwed over by it. It helps counteract these massive breakaway leads, which can be good, but the player that normally pulls one is usually around the middle of the pack, and it just doesn't do anything for them besides waste a slot. It may help second or third, but if you're in 7th surrounded by stars and bullet bills, you're at peak vulnerability, and pull something that doesn't benefit you directly whatsoever. Unless you're playing with a friend that's always in first and love to watch him rage, it's not a pull you want for yourself, so I'm gonna put it down in not terrible. These things are just okay. If you're going fast enough, they can protect your rear, but if you're turning or just driving too slow, getting hit takes even longer to recover from. But the trade-off is an absolute weapon. The blast radius is pretty nice, and placing one after a tight corner or in a super crowded part of the track is so fun. Throwing one ahead of you though, not that great. I usually miss by a landslide or end up blowing myself up. There's certainly a lot more useful items, but you know, it's pretty decent. The mushroom is a staple of Mario Kart for all the right reasons. It opens up so many quick little shortcuts that feel awesome to zoom through. You don't get any protection from this one, besides from a blue shell if you time it really good, but the amount of ground you can make up with one of these can be pretty substantial depending on the track. It's a solid pull for sure, but not as good as the triple mushrooms, bringing the same benefits, but thrice as much. You can string together shortcuts with ease and take significant off-road cuts, but it's even better because you can space out the usage if you want. If you know a couple separate, really effective shortcuts throughout the race, you can use the mushrooms accordingly, and not feel the need to spam through them or just have to re-roll at the next item box. Personally, this is my favorite form of mushroom to pull, but it's not quite elite because you still don't get any defense. Very clutch though. The golden mushroom is really good, but it has some pretty glaring downsides. Any item that locks you into using it, I'm instantly less of a fan of. To get the most out of this one, you gotta just mash the button. And if someone's trying to hit you with something and you have a defense item in your second slot, you can't use it, you're gonna get hit, the mushroom's gonna run out before you can regain your speed, and now you're basically ruined. That's happened to me more times than I can count. Now, it's great for tracks with a lot of off-road where you can cut a bunch of corners, but even in those, the triples can do mostly the same thing with no downside. I think it balances out to be about as good as the regular mushroom, if I'm being honest.
They said electric could never live up to the expectations.
Do I even need to argue this one? Whether you're a casual or a seasoned pro, pulling a bullet bill is almost always the best thing you could ask for. You're invincible, move faster, turn faster, and can jump like half of the other players. It's the most obvious elite of the video. Following up the best item in the game, we have about the worst item in the game. It does nothing. You don't get any extra support, it just makes it slightly harder for other players to see. And when I say slightly, I mean very slightly. At least in the older games, it made it a bit harder for your opponents to race, but here it's barely even an inconvenience, even for someone who's never played the track before. This one's a pretty easy worthless. The lightning bolt is one of the most overpowered items in the game, because it hits every player in the race that's not invincible, and gives you a solid chance at making a comeback. And it's even better because only one player can pull this at a time, and there's like a 30-second cooldown after use, which can be massive when used strategically. I think it's gotta go elite. The star is debatably as good as the bullet bill, because it lasts about as long as a golden mushroom, but actually protects you, turns you into a weapon, and still lets you take all the shortcuts you want. So depending on the track and your knowledge of its layout, this can be a whole lot better. The fire flower is good in some situations and really terrible in others. You get way more shots than any other item gives you, and sending them rapid fire at a group of players in front of you is a lot of fun. But when the pack is more spread out, it's basically just a less predictable and reliable red shell. But you do get enough shots for some minimal protection too. So overall, it's pretty well rounded, and I'm never too pissed to pull on this one. Solid. The boomerang's one of the more unique items in the game. You throw it straight like a typical green shell, but as boomerangs do, it hooks back and lets you throw it again. You get 3 shots total, so it's basically triple greens, and the front backswing can make it pretty tough for other racers to avoid. It's a pretty good mid-tier. The piranha plant is an item I want to like, but anytime I seem to get it, it does more harm than good. It'll eat away at any obstacles in front of you and give you short bursts of speed every second or two, which can really help you make up ground, but when you're in a middle position and pull this, which is typically the case, there's projectiles and attackers blazing all around you, and while you're a threat to everyone in front of you, you're very vulnerable from the back. Also, if you pull this one in the first slot and have something better in the second, like the golden mushroom, it holds you on that first slot until it decides to run out, and can get in the way more than anything. Because of that, I gotta lower this one to a not terrible tier. The super horn is one of the best defense items in the game, giving you complete 360 coverage and eliminating blue shells as a threat. This is probably the best item you can pull in first place, and even in the mid places, it can wipe out everyone around you and protect you from shells and bananas. This thing always comes in clutch. The Crazy 8, like the name suggests, gives you 8 items all at once, and that may sound and look really cool, but it's not as crazy as it may seem. You get a bunch of nonsense and a star, so you spam it and use the good power-up. If you try and be all strategic, odds are someone will swoop by and steal it on you, so it's best to just use it all up as soon as you get it. You can't really afford to wait around for a good time. Because of that, it's not quite elite, but it's still an above-average pull. The easiest rank in the video, worthless. No protection, no attacking, just a very minor max speed increase, so I'm told. It's the worst thing you could possibly get from an item box. The only benefit to having one is that when you hold it, you're guaranteed not to get a second one. So there's that. I'll be honest, I'm never very happy to pull this one. Its concept is promising, an item that makes you invisible and invincible while stealing someone else's item for you. You know, it's cool, but it never seems to steal anything useful. It's usually just a coin or a green shell or something, which would be fine if you didn't always get these in such a low place. The boo itself is pretty good, but the theft mechanic is always kind of worthless, so this one's going down in not bad tier. I did say every item, didn't I? So, the Super Leaf, which is exclusive to Battle Mode. It lets you jump, which can dodge attacking items if timed correctly, and help you escape some tricky situations, so it's not the worst thing out there, but there's plenty of much better alternatives. And there you have it. Real quick, if you take your Nintendo Switch on the go a lot and wish it was easier to lug around, you gotta ditch that clunky old dock. It's bulky, flimsy, and really doesn't have a good reason to be. And Accelerate Gaming's portable dock is the solution you've been waiting for. It cuts the unnecessary plastic of Nintendo's and gives you a sleek, durable, and very portable alternative. And it's only $20, so if you want to enhance your Switch setup and support this channel, go grab one now and use code JeremyK to get an additional 10% off your order. There's a very limited amount of uses on that, so redeem it while you can. And if you disagree with me on any of the rankings in this video, leave your takes down in the comments.